Hey, I want to take a little time today to talk about the Million MAGA March that occurred yesterday in Washington, D.C. I want to talk about what happened during the march and what happened afterwards, and how the media seems to be ignoring a really big thing that happened there, or an aspect of what happened there that I think is very important. Well, for one, let's talk about what the Million MAGA March was. It was thousands and thousands of Trump supporters showed up to voice their support of a sitting president. And you can make arguments to whether, these people are in denial and they still think he won, or, they're just blah, 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 or they're just crazies, or whatever you want to make an argument for. It doesn't matter while they're there. It matters that they're Americans and they are there to voice their support for a sitting president, regardless of what you think their motivations are. Doesn't matter. Yet, still, there were a lot of people on the left there saying things like, go home, you take your Trump hats and go home, you don't belong here, you're not welcome, blah, blah, blah. And I want to say, well, why would an American citizen not be welcome in front of the White House? Period. Much less when they're there just to voice support for a sitting president, whether you like that president or not, or whether you like their politics or not. If you're an American, you should have been welcoming them being there and speaking out. They behaved in a responsible manner. They had speakers. They, stayed in their area. They marched up to the Supreme Court. They did things that they should do during a protest. And I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I am actually a bigger First Amendment person than I am a Second Amendment person. One of the main reasons I latch onto the Second Amendment so strongly is because I am aware that it is the only thing that guarantees the First Amendment. So I'm a big First Amendment supporter. I support anyone being able to get out and protest against the government, be able to speak their political mind, and be heard. Regardless of whether I agree with them or not, I will be an ally to them regarding their ability to actually be heard. As long as they're not committing any crimes, I'm on your side, whether I agree with you or not. That's the American way as far as I'm concerned. But the left showed no desire to be American or be accepting, which is odd to me because right now, aren't they saying that the biggest job they have to do now that Biden is going to be the new president is unite people? Well, were your actions yesterday very uniting? Because not only did they try to interrupt the actual proceedings and the actual exercise of people's right to assemble and be heard, they afterwards, when people from the rallies started showing up in the downtown area, like going to eat or whatever, they were being assaulted. They would have their Trump hats ripped from their head or jackets pulled off of them and physically attacked and told that they're not welcome there, as if they're not Americans. That is heinous as far as I'm concerned. What happened to unity? What happened to saying, hey, we might disagree, but we're still all Americans? What you should have done in that situation, if you're someone on the left and someone with a MAGA hat showed up there that night at a restaurant, whatever, you should have said, hey, dude, let me buy you a drink. I know we don't agree on a lot of things, but, I agree with you on the ability to say what you think and assemble and blah, 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 and all these other things. And I know about 9 out of 10 things we would agree with because we're Americans. And I know if things ever got really hard, like a levee broke or there were fires or whatever, we'd be side by side trying to save our neighbors, regardless of our political ideology. Politics is a tiny part of our lives and it's a tiny part of being American. But instead, they chose to yank people's hats off their heads, try to physically assault them, etc. And the media seems to not be wanting to cover it, which is odd because every time a Proud Boy so much as raises his voice or raises his eyebrow, it's national news. But these attacks are getting like little blurbs on the back, on the page 8 at the bottom of the page or something, if you actually read newspapers. So I just want to understand. I don't understand if the whole thing is we have to unite and we're all Americans, which I agree 100%. We need to start paying attention to the 90% of the things we agree on and not focusing quite as much on the 10% of the things we disagree on. It doesn't mean we can't fight feverishly on the things we disagree on. We can. I can stand toe to toe with someone, nose to nose, and argue my point and defend my point. And even if it came to physically defending my point, I would do that. But that doesn't mean that that person's not an American. It means we disagree on something. Even if they disagree to a point where I think that they're being unconstitutional, I don't usually chalk that up to being un-American. I chalk that up to being ignorant. And it's my job not to defeat you, but hopefully to enlighten you, to bring you over. So I don't understand if your whole point is unity now, which the left is saying that's their point, bringing everybody together. Why are you attacking people in Trump hats? Why are you telling them they're not welcome there to exercise their First Amendment rights? I know the media tried to portray it like, oh, the Million MAGA rally is going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be all these armed people, and of course someone's going to get killed. Lots of people are going to get killed. Didn't happen. Just like on election day when they said all these right-wing nut jobs are going to show up with guns and people in line are going to get intimidated and go home, or they're going to get into fights and there's going to be people getting killed. Didn't happen. So maybe the media needs to quit paying attention to what they think is the problem and just start paying attention to the news, like when someone attacks somebody for wearing a MAGA hat. It's ridiculous. Now, I wouldn't personally wear a MAGA hat to a BLM protest. If I was going to go down to be an observer, I wouldn't wear a MAGA hat. I just think it'd be rude. It'd be trying to incite trouble. But these people weren't there showing up in MAGA stuff to incite trouble. They had just come from a MAGA rally. And, I wouldn't incite trouble unless I thought it was necessary, or maybe it could be funny. So I'm not going to pretend like I would never start trouble. But like I'm saying, these people weren't trying to start trouble. They just came from a MAGA rally. What'd you want them to do? Change their clothes, take their shirts off, their jackets before they came to get something to eat? And the very fact that they came to an area highly populated by the other side, to me, that's like an olive branch. That's like saying, hey, I'm coming over here. We don't agree on things, but I still am going to mix in with you because once the political rally's over, we're just Americans. But that doesn't seem to be the way it happened. So that's why I've been making a point lately of we do need to stop calling people un-American just because we don't agree with them. Call them unenlightened. That's what I like to call them. Or ignorant of reality. But I don't like to call them un-American. I don't like to divide our country. I don't like to pretend like someone, if they don't agree with me on abortion, that doesn't make them not an American. It just means they have an opinion. And that's fine. I'll argue that opinion with them. If they don't agree with me on guns, that doesn't mean they're a communist. It means they probably have a distorted opinion of the Second Amendment. They've had their opinions skewed by politics, and hopefully I can enlighten them, like I said before. But and one of the reasons I think is why it's important for us to do it on the right is because if we do it, I think we're going to be the first ones to do it. Because, the left is trying to play high road, like I said, like we're the ones that's going to be inclusive and we're going to heal the wounds and bring people back together. They aren't showing any evidence of that so far. I haven't seen any evidence of that happening. So they can preach it all they want. I think we can actually do it. I think we can be true Americans and support people's First Amendment right, support people's Second Amendment rights, realize that, like I said, under 90% of circumstances, we'll be shoulder to shoulder fighting whatever adversity faces us. But when we disagree on politics, we'll let you know. But we're still going to be American versus American, not us versus them. You know what I mean? And like I said, the left is preaching it, but I don't see them doing it. I think we can not only preach it, but we can do it. So get out there, do it. Enlighten people that are anti-Second Amendment. If your cause is religion or abortion or whatever, I support your right to get out there and try to enlighten people on that too. Try to bring them over to your side. Now, when we're talking Second Amendment, when you finish a conversation about the Second Amendment with someone, they shouldn't know if you are right or left, if you are conservative or liberal. That should be something that they have to wonder, because you should have stuck to the Second Amendment and just informed them. But anything else, that's up to you. You have a right to say and do what you want. If you want to be the best ally of the Second Amendment, keep it to the Second Amendment. Because when it comes to the Second Amendment, we're right. We're right about what the Second Amendment says. We're right about the effects it has on society. We're right about guns in society and how they are not a problem. We are correct in the fact that the Second Amendment is what defends the First Amendment and every other right you have. So we're coming from a position of we have all the ammunition. We are the ones that are on the right side of the battle. So we don't have to resort to horrible tactics like calling people communists, etc. We just got to put the information out there. And if the person in front of us won't listen to that information, the 20 people around us should be able to hear it and go, the guy talking for the Second Amendment spoke just facts and made perfect sense. But like I said, it's going to take a while. But we need to start doing that. We need to start winning. Like I said, in 2021 is going to be the year of winning for gun rights. And this right here, like I said, what happened at the Million MAGA March yesterday, it's a perfect example of how the people on the left are not going to try to be uniting. They are not trying to be, inclusive. They're saying, we won, yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember last time when you lost and you threw your big old rallies out in front of the Capitol, big marches, etc., protesting Trump? No one showed up and shot you up because they didn't think you should have a right to do it. No crazy right-wing gunman showed up and hurt you. They let you have your say because you were upset. That's what America is. So how about you do the same for people on the other side? And like I say, we're not even to a point yet where people are protesting after Biden won. They're supporting a president during an ongoing process. And whether you believe that process is going to lead to anything or not, that's irrelevant. Just support your fellow American in voicing their opinion. Don't be pricks. Because last night, the left was being pricks. Period. That's all there was about it. Acting like a pack of wild animals surrounding people that they didn't like oh, he's from the other pack, get him. It's garbage. That's not going to be good for anybody. So left, start practicing what you preach or stop preaching it. And people on the right, let's start doing what's right because, like I said, we are right. And in the end, we will enlighten a lot of people. We will bring a lot of people over to the pro-gun side if we do it in the right way. I think we have all the tools. I think we have all the voices. And I think we will be very successful in 2021. So let's get started and let's get this thing done. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.